So I just got a call from my local material supplier. They're round the corner from work. So on my lunch break, it's 1 o'clock right now, I'm going to rip up to there, get the material, then come back and carry on with work. So then I can drop the material off at home tonight, or at my workshop tonight. But it's going to be hectic because I'm in a Micra and it's 2 3-meter lengths of tube and some shorter lengths. I'm not so worried about the shorter lengths, but it's the 2 3-meter lengths. We'll see how that goes. So I've actually converted my Micra into a van in preparation for this. Right, so let's go. I'll tell you what, it's going to be cold driving home tonight. But hey, gotta do what you gotta do. It's for a great cause. Got steel. Got an MB8 prop here. So what I might do, in fact I am going to do it, is I'm going to attach this to the differential and I'm going to lift the rear subframe back up into the tunnel to see where this comes to in the tunnel. I have a sneaking suspicion the gearbox is going to be a long way back. I should have raised the car up really. Wow, come on. I'm just going to put the bolt in and leave the nuts off for now. So it looks like the prop is really quite far and quite short. The gearbox is going to be real far back. So this isn't a true representation of the length, because obviously there's a lot of angle. So I'll get a few inches back when the subframe goes up in there properly. When the subframe goes up, it'll effectively make the prop longer. Here we go, look. So I'm going to have to cut this cross member out for sure. But what I'll probably do is try and make that into like a bolt-in cross member. So if you can imagine, the gearbox is going to go on there, and this cross member here is where the centre bearing bolts in. So if I get a tape measure, this is where the prop bearing would bolt in, and we measure from the nose of the prop to that point. Oh, it's like 9.5 inches. 9.5 inches to like the witness mark. So if we go up into the car, let's line you up there so you can see what I'm seeing. So it's like 9.5 inches, maybe actually only 9 inches. So 9 inches from this cross member, the prop bearing, but we're going to gain a little bit from the angle. When the prop is straight and in the car properly, the angle is going to change. I'll bring you round to the inside of the car. So this bulge is right bang on really in the middle of where the prop bearing is. So we say 9 inches. So the back of the box is all the way back here, which is fairly insane. So if we say we're going to gain an inch or so maybe, yeah, so this is where it is right now, and and at best we might come to say 7 inches when it's straightened up. So now ideally what I need to do is go and measure the gearbox and find out where the gear stick's actually going to be. Remember, I am actually going to be moving the seat a long way back, a lot further back. Like where it is now is probably where the seat's going to be. So I'm going to go and measure where the gear stick comes out. I might actually end up with no choice but to put a lengthened prop in, which won't be the end of the world. I don't want to go too mad. Right, I'm going to go and measure a gearbox and then I'll come right back. Okay, so just been in the shed and the gearbox is approximately 33 inches long and the engine is approximately 20 inches long. I mean, it's dark in the shed and this is just rough, just to give me some ideas, something to dream about when I go to bed tonight. So, also, unfortunately, the gear stick comes right out on the tail of the box where the prop goes in, which means that the gear stick at the moment is going to be coming up approximately like there, but it will obviously be shorter. I'm not going to dwell on that too much because the subframe is just nowhere near in the right place, so we'll worry about that. We'll cross that road when we get to it. And I could, instead of altering the prop, I could make a spacer to go between the prop and the diff, so that could be 2 or 3 inches long and it shouldn't give any balancing problems as long as it's made correctly. So let's just go with what we've got at the minute, because this is worst case scenario, without a doubt, worst case scenario. And that gear stick coming up there, the column's going to have to be lengthened for me to be able to reach it, with the seat all the way back there. The pedals are coming back, so maybe it's actually pretty much perfect. Maybe I should empty the seat and sit in the seat and see what I think before I get too over excited about this. Let's go with the gearbox at 33 inches. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, let's do it like on the side of the tunnel. Bit of cosine air up. So I don't know if you can see that in the picture, but if the gearbox ends there, it'll start up here. So maybe I don't want to go too much further forward. Now what would be nice is if I can figure out my distance into the engine bay. So what I might do is just measure back to this bolt, which is 16.5 inches, and then measure 36.5 inches from this bolt into the engine bay and see what we've got on that end. Climb on in. This is going to be a bit of a mission. 36.5 inches from that bolt. Here. Oh. Ho ho ho. It couldn't be better really, could it? I am hooked on the back of that bolt. So if we say 37, the engine's going to come to like here, which gives me plenty of room. It's basically in line with this, the back side of this engine mount, measured from in the tunnel, from that bolt, 36.5 inches, and it pretty much comes to this back side of this mount. So that gives me all that room at the front of the engine bay. for activities. Basically 9 to 10 inches of activity room. Well, that's enough room to swing a dog's D, isn't it? Plenty of room for a dog's D to be swung about in there. Now what would be interesting is if we, I mean, I'm probably wasting my time here. This is just, it's all so rough. Until I get subframes mounted in, I really don't know where I am, do I? But I need some sort of an idea. So 17 inches. So it looks like the engine's going to go 3 inches or so back into the bulkhead, which is absolutely perfect. Because I don't even think, I think the spark plug will probably be like, the back spark plug would just be like here. And I can remote mount the coil pack, so that's not a problem. Doesn't need to be on the back of the engine. Or I can go with cops. Coil on plug would probably be the best way. Something else I've been thinking about as well is ditching the pedal box, which I could actually put on the silver one instead, and putting in a floor mount pedal box. But then I don't know how flat the floor is going to be, so we're going to have to wait and see on that as well. So now I think I'm just going to test out the seating position where it is. I think the seat needs to be more upright. So the steering wheel's too far away. I want it right here. And I could drift absolutely fine. I can see enough. Short wheelbase cars aren't great for doing backwards entries. And I could probably live with the gear stick being there as well. But I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be a little bit further forward. But I can live with that, especially if the steering wheel's here. And then the actual handbrake would be like down here. Like in between the steering wheel and the gear knob. It's going to be quite cosy. Maybe forward a little bit. On the MX-5 I had it real close to the steering wheel. But it's just going to have to be one of those suck and see. I've actually got a little trick that I want to do with the handbrake that I'm not sure anyone's doing in drifting yet, but we're going to test that out at some point when we get to it. So now, my last job for the evening is to take a measurement of the rear bushes so that I can machine up some dummy bushes for the jig and get a rear disc off, because I've got an idea for getting over the 4x114 problem, seeing as these are 4x100 and my wheels are 4x114. And I've got a plan, and I may draw it up on SolidWorks tonight to give myself a bit of an idea, but I need to take some measurements and see if it's going to work first. Okay then, so thanks for watching this episode, or this part. What part are we on now? Part 6 or 7? Well, anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you're not finding it too boring at this stage. Like I promise, once this jig's made, which I'll do a bit of a video on making the jig, and you know, I've got to figure that out for myself because I've never made a chassis jig before, and getting it all in line and getting it to work is going to be quite a challenge, I think. But as soon as that jig's made and I can put the chassis on top of it and start cutting, I think things are going to start moving really quickly, because at the moment it's just guesswork, and I know I'm measuring stuff and it seems almost quite pointless, but it's just giving me some food for thought so that, you know, I can just ponder on different ideas. Like at first I was really alarmed of where the prop ended and where the gear stick was going to be, but now I've sat in it, taken some measurements up to the front of the car, I'm actually really happy. Like, the engine, I think, is going to be in the perfect position for this size of engine bay. Not too far in the bulkhead, but I can't do any maintenance, and not too far forward that I can't fit any radiators and intercoolers. So I think we're really good on that. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. In fact, the next video should be something more to do with the jig. Maybe I'll machine up the bosses next. Strip the subframes, machine up the bosses. I've got to work out how I'm going to get the wheelbase right. So I'm either going to pull it all out and set it up on the floor, get the wheelbase kind of right, and then measure the distance between the two subframes. But like I said, I've got to put some wheels on the front, so hopefully tomorrow I'll have some 8J wheels and some 185/60/14s on the wheels, and I'll be able to put them on, lift the subframe up, and then see if we've got enough room for the lock that I'm going to have, the steering angle that I'm going to have. So cheers guys, and see you next time.